AM 560. The Answer.
I'm going to get to the line, so Karen, hang on. John, hang on. But this is important because it's going to be reported as if this is somehow a win for us. It's not a win for us by any means, but the good news is I don't think Donald Trump's going to accept it. At least I hope he doesn't.
And new CBS reporting about a CIA assessment ahead of President Trump's decision to launch what was described as Operation Absolute Resolve. We can now confirm the Central Intelligence Agency was asked to analyze potential political leadership scenarios should Nicolas Maduro cease to be president. It's been less than 24 hours since the ousted leader and his wife pleaded not guilty to federal charges in New York City. National correspondent Lilia Luciano joins us now from Cucuta, Colombia this morning, where she continues to gauge the temperature on the Venezuelan-Colombia.
You know, Squirrel, I was going to go to Cucuta, and then I said, too many CIA scumbags there. And I can't believe they still ask the CIA. I mean, are you unaware of the 40 years of what's going on here? Maybe 50, 60, 70?
Congressional oversight proved minimal. The House Intelligence Committee later acknowledged that CIA liaison relationships with foreign intelligence agencies rarely, if ever, were voluntarily reported to Congress. The scandal exposed a pattern. CIA counter-narcotics programs across Central and South America, Bolivia, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, operated with minimal transparency, creating conditions for corruption, drug trafficking, and abuse.
Which is why the CIA always picks a left government. They're easy. And they're ferocious in controlling their people. They just motz them. And when there's any questions, well, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters? The money's all gone. It's offshore.
The idea was that money would be deposited with the Nugan Hand Bank by the CIA through various channels, and also that the Nugan Hand Bank would be the repository for funds coming in from various CIA enterprises, namely drugs in Thailand, marijuana in particular, and that the Nugan Hand Bank would then be responsible for rerouting that money to an account.
$200 million a month in 1980, 1979 Squirrel. Inflationally adjusted, it's about $800 to $900 million now. A month! Back then, one little bank. Which means this little bank, did it grow. Grew very fast.
In America with a New York bank.
Nugan Hand was not your ordinary bank. There were secret numbered accounts, and hardly any of its top people were bankers. Many were American civilians and former high-ranking military officers with ties to U.S. intelligence. When they found the body of Australian businessman Frank Nugan, the bank's chairman, shot to death a few months before the bank went under, they discovered in his pocket the business card of this man, William Colby, former director of the CIA.
That was before George H.W. Bush. Two scumbags. Two scumbags he was. My favorite is the meeting with Jimmy Carter. May he burn in hell for 1,000 millenniums. 4.5 hours. Next thing you know, he's Jimmy Carter's head of the CIA. And then, after attacking Ronald Reagan, the vice president.
Nugan's partner was Michael Hand, an American Green Beret who served 2 tours in Vietnam, one of them for the Central Intelligence Agency. He disappeared a short while after the bank collapsed and is now believed to be dead. Australian newspapers reported a connection between Nugan Hand and the U.S. Navy's super-secret intelligence unit known as Task Force 157. Among its top agents, CIA man Edwin Wilson, now under indictment for selling arms and explosives to Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi.
Oh, you sold him to Muammar? This is in 1980, huh? See the reporting back then, Squirrel? There were like 5 channels. They called it a clicker. You hit the button and click, click, click. That was different, though. They weren't completely a front for the government narrative.
And a man named Patry Loomis has also been implicated. He was the apparent CIA Nugan Hand go-between. It was Loomis who helped Wilson recruit a team of Green Berets to train terrorists in Libya.
The Nugan Hand affair has caused an uproar in Australia, where authorities are trying to find out what involvement the bank might have had.
So who heard about it outside of watching this in 1980? Who heard about it? Where did it go? Where'd the investigation go? Boy, you can really tie up these loose ends, huh? Like a Nugan Hand. Shot in the car with the CIA director's card in his pocket.
In the 1975 downfall of the Labour Party government. Meanwhile, investigators on 3 continents are attempting to trace $50 million missing from the accounts of depositors, including many Americans.
Yeah, that's gone. That's gone. Like your Russian oil company investments. Gone. John, Chicago.
Hey, Sean. John from Chicago.
How are you, baby?
Hey, about that phone-headed bird, the lieutenant. You ever hear the transmission from that shooting?
Yeah, I want to know something. Let me quantify that. I heard a little bit of it, and it was so obvious what was going on. I started to chew through things and throw things. I can't listen. We know as we watched it, you and I and the people who are listening to this show, we're not the fracking imbecile Chicago Democrats that will believe anything. That are waiting to be a slave with a little bit of check. You pay my rent, I'll rub your feet. Get the hell out of here. Everybody knew what that was. First of all, how do you think you get those jobs? You want to talk about a cushy sit-on-your-ass job, covering up rapes and mayhem and affairs. It's Caligula for ugly people in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I mean, that dimwit was just trying to cover his tracks, for 52 seconds. While she's bleeding out on the floor when he came back and said, hey.
Did you see him shoot her?
Return player. Oh, yes, I see many angles of it.
Now, let me ask you something, John. You sound like a guy that I probably was shoving around, and we were shoving each other, maybe a punch in the face in Ditka, say, circa 1989. How many times you been rousted? How many times you been arrested?
Couple, when
handful?
You're a kid, this is minor league. Yeah, minor league.
Okay, right. Right, when you're a kid, you could run through a building, right? Big, fat Chicago copper comes with a leather jacket and a paddy wagon outside. Now, you're violent. You're a violent guy. You're from the neighborhood. You'll take on 2 or 3 guys at a time. Unarmed. And when we were in there, you're throwing glasses and everything. Why would he shoot her in the neck at point-blank range? She had nothing. Nothing in her hands. She was going through the skinny window like in the grade schools. She was 110 pounds. Going through the window, he shot her at point-blank. That's an execution. That's murder. And they gave that fracking scumbag an award. And then, via the Gateway Pundit, it looks like they gave him one of those phony baloney contracts that we give Somalians for daycare. $190 million. That's the payoff. That would make the CIA Nugan guy blush if he wasn't been shot by the CIA. I'm getting sick and tired, John. Sick and tired of pretending any of it is legitimate on Fedsurrection Day. Thank you for proving my point. 312-642-5600.
This is the Sean Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.